Guys, welcome to the channel. This is Waga. We are going to continue building our Instagram clone, but first off I'd like to ask you to reward this video with a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section, I'll get back to you, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, right? So yeah, we're going to continue building our Instagram clone, and what we're going to do today is we are going to hook up the Firebase backend to the sign up page so that a user, we can sign up a new user. So that's basically what we're going to get down and do. And so let's get to work. And what we do is we come to Flexigram. We can create a new group. Our new group is going to contain the various services that we're going to use. And so here we're going to have services like so. And in the service, the first service we're going to create is, we could hit Command N. It's going to be a new Swift file. It's going to be auth service like so. Yeah, it's going to be auth service, and we'll work there in a bit. But first, let's create the storage service, which will handle our images. It will handle our images in the chats. It will handle our image with the profile image. It will handle our images with what's the other one? With the timeline images. So those are the three places that this service will handle. So you could hit Command N, and we could create a new Swift file, and it's going to be called, no prizes for guessing, storage service like so, and we hit create, and we get what we need here. We're going to use we're going to import a bunch of things. We could import Firebase, we could import Firebase auth, we could import of course Firebase storage. This is the storage file after all. And I'm not sure, but would we use SwiftUI? Okay, I don't think we'll use SwiftUI, but yeah. So let's come here and we create the class. We could say class storage like so, storage services service. Let's just not make it a plural, so we call it storage service. Now a quick run up. If you want to know more about storage and in detail, I have actually just followed this, like create a root reference. This is how you create. We say storage.reference. This is, of course, when you go to the documentation, right? You go to Firebase, the documentation, and choose iOS, right? So I'm going to assume that you have a bit of passing knowledge. I'll be explaining each line as we go, but for the most part, I might be passing a bit faster than usual. So I'm assuming that you've maybe made a Firebase. You've used Firebase before. If you're interested in another Firebase product, if I can project or tutorial, I can make a shameless plug. You can look at my my Flutter Tinder clone, which is built with Firebase, and it also handles images and whatnot. So that's another, but it's in another language. But the idea of creating storage references, buckets, children, roots, parents, it's basically the same. It's language agnostic, right? So let us continue. And yeah, so to upload a file, we first create a cloud storage reference to the location in the cloud storage you want to upload the file to. You can create a reference by appending child paths to the storage root. So for example, let's get a reference to the storage service using the default Firebase app that we've done. So to do that, what we would do is we could create static, because we want to access it. We want to access it in a bunch of places, I'm guessing. So we could say static var storage, and this is going to be storage. Maybe we might want to in the future to access storage from another place. I'm not exactly sure where we would want to do this, but let's just do it like this so that we future-proof our issues if we are building out the other side. Like I'm building it incrementally. I'm figuring things out as I go, right? So yeah, so that's why we're making it static. So this is access to where we want to, the reference to where we want to store the files. And after that, we could use this storage by creating a storage root, right? We could say static, same reason we're doing this here, so that we can use it without instantiating the class storage root, and this is going to be storage that we've just created dot reference, and here we could say for URL, and for this URL string, what you need to do is you need to go to your Firebase what it's called, your Firebase storage, where you created your Firebase storage, and you see this link, you copy the folder path, right? So this, you just copy it. So hit this copy it to clipboard, go back to your app, put it as a string, right? Of course, don't use this. Don't use mine. I'll have deleted it by the time I'm putting it up. So if you try using this, it won't work, right? But you could put it somewhere else and then link to it so that other users do not see it. But basically that, yeah. So we continue, right? And after that, we can create a reference to a location, maybe at the low point of the tree, of the folder tree, and use the child method to create an existing reference, right? So basically what this means is we could do this, right? We could come here and you'll see it, or let me show you with something we've done. So basically what we're doing here is we're in the profile, we've already done this. Now we're going to create the profile, this profile here, right? If I can just go back to storage, let me go back to storage so you can see. So we have this folder called profile, right? So that's what we're creating right now by using the child, appending the child to the storage root. So this is what we will create. So that when you create a user, this was what I was creating for testing, you will find that the images are appended here. So basically this line creates that folder that we're about to type. Not tap. So we could say static var storage profile equal, and we're going to assign it to what the storage root we created, and the child is going to be the folder is going to be called profile that you've just seen, right? And after that we're going to create a function. You will see what this function does in for the profile ID, right? So this profile ID, if you can come, you can see this VP blah 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 blah, this one. Let's go to authentication. You see it's the same, VP blah blah blah. So we're going to use this user ID. This is somebody who has been logged in. This is what we'll have at the end of when we are finishing logging in, guys. So this ID is what we want to create right now. Where is the storage? We can just confirm that it's the same. So we want the user's image, profile image, to have the same UID as them. Basically, you're going to use the UID because it's unique to name your profile image, right? So in profile, you're going to have images according to the user's unique identifier in Firebase, right? So that's what we're doing right now. This function is what is going to do that. So we could come here and say static func storage profile ID, and this is going to take the user ID, which is a string like so, and it's going to return a storage reference. Storage, it's not helping me, reference, and what it's going to return, I think we'll use this in the auth. We could say storage profile dot child, and the path is going to be user ID the user ID here. So we're going to do that. We will put this in the we'll use this in the auth service, right? We'll use that in the auth service. I think we'll use it in the auth service. I'm just checking my notes. Okay, now we'll create the save profile image, the method that will save the profile image, save our profile image. And for that we could come here and we could create static func. By now you should know why that is. I've mentioned it. Save profile image, and this is going to take a user ID, which is going to be a string like so, a user name, which is going to be a string like so, an email which is going to be a string, image data, which is going to be data, metadata, which is information about the image, right, which you're also going to store, is going to be storage metadata. It's going to be of type storage metadata, and we're going to have the storage profile image ref, which is going to be our which is going to be of type storage reference, and on success we're going to we're going to have an escaping closure, which will just run after the function is done. And we could say escaping like so, and this is going to be escaping like so. Okay, let me put this here, escaping like so, and this is going to be user of type user. We're going to end up with a user, and it's going to return it's going to return nothing. Let's just say void like so. And after void, and on error we're going to have another, we're going to escape this, and we're going to say escaping, and I'm assuming by now, if you're following along, you know we have an underscore there, and we could save on time by not actually mentioning every little thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. So this is going to be of type string, and this is going to return nothing. So we say void like so, and we come here, and the meat of it, right? So it's going to have a user ID of type string, a username of string, email string, image data. Image data is going to be of type capitalized data. I'm just going through it. Metadata is going to be storage metadata. Storage profile image is going to be storage reference. On success and on error. Okay, let's continue. Now the next thing is we're going to put metadata of the image into the storage, of course. Metadata, like I said, is just information about the image. It contains things like the size of the image, the content size, when it was taken, etc, etc, right? So we could come here and we say storage profile image ref like so, and we're going to use the put data method. This is from Firebase, and this is going to be the image data, and the metadata is going to be the metadata that we pass along, right? And after that, we are going to take the storage metadata, and the error, and this is going to be in. This is a closure, and we could come here and we could say if error is not equal to nil, we could come here and we could say on error, and you're just going to have error and wrap it dot localized description, and we are going to return like so. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to download the download URL, the download URL of the image, right? So after that, we're going to say storage profile image ref dot download URL, and we could just clean this out, and download URL, and we could come here and say URL error in, and we say if let meta image URL, and this is going to be URL dot absolute string. And what we're going to do is, if we already have this code is going to be used to update the profile image. That is, if we already have an image URL, right? That means we already have an image. So basically what we would do is we would use the create profile change request method from Firebase to create to change the what's it called, the image, so that when you click on we'll use this, that when you click on the later on in the profile page, when you click on your image, you can change your image, right? This is what we'll use. This method that we're creating here will be used in the future, not right now, but we'll use it in the future. So let's just create it, right? So instead of waiting until we get there, we could say if let change request equals auth and we get the, if we have a current user, we will work on the current user in a bit, but just take it as it is. This basically checks if there's a user logged in, right? And if we do have a current user logged in, we could say create profile change request, right? And let me just get rid of this. We want curly braces, not this ones. So we come here and we create this, and we come down. Let's just scroll down so that you can see where we're typing. And what we could say is change request dot photo URL, and this is going to be URL like so. And URL, let's come down here and we say change request dot display name, and this is going to be the username like so. And we're going to say change request dot commit changes, and we're going to get rid of this and come here and put in curly braces so you can write the code. And we could say here error in and error in, sorry, error in. Oh God, every time I type it, I hit enter, it auto completes rather than going down, going to the next line as I wanted it to. We could say if error is not nil, we should come here and say on error, and this is going to be error dot localized description, and we're just going to hit return like so. And now we're going to come to the end of this, and we're going to say here while still in the while still with the inside the absolute string here. And what we could do next is now we could get to the business. This is if a user is currently logged in, we are going to change the photo that they select, right? This is for helping with the change of photo. We'll look at that a bit later, but right now let's get back to work. We could say let Firestore user ID, and this is going to be auth service, which we have not created, and it's going to be get user ID. It's going to complain, but we will create it next, so I think that's okay if it complains. And this is going to be user ID like so. And after that we could say let user, and this is going to be user. It's just going to be, we're going to initialize a user dot init like so, and let's wait for like so. And the UID is going to be we created the user ID. The UID is going to be the user ID. The email is going to be email. The profile image URL is going to be meta image URL. The username is going to be username. The search name is going to be, like I said, the search name is going to be username dot split string like so. And the bio is just going to be an empty string. The bio can be an empty string, right? So auth service, we come here, and actually this is supposed to be unwrapped like so. So yeah, so basically that. And after this we're going to come here and say guard let dict equals try. We're going to use the method we create, user as dictionary, else we return. I already explained what this method did in the video. It's an extension, right? And it tries to convert it into a dictionary like so that we can set it in Firestore, not Firebase, Firestore. Just get it clear. So here we could come and say Firestore user ID, and we could set data, and we're going to, that's why we're creating the method, so that we can upload it as an object, essentially, to by object I'm talking about JavaScript object, let's say as dictionary to Firebase, right? We could say set data. The set data method is what is normally used with let me just capitalize set data, and this is going to take our dict that we just made, and if there's an error in oh god, same problem. We could say error in. We could come here and we say error in, and if error, I think that code is self-explanatory, right? We could say on error, and this is going to be error, and we could say dot localized. We can copy this line. Let's just copy it. Copy, come here, get rid of this, paste this here, and on success we're going to have the user. So we could come here and we say on success we have the user that we just created here, right? So yeah, so basically this basically that. So this is going to be our storage service. Let me just save. This is going to be our storage service, and what we could do is the next thing we could work on is the auth service. It's complaining here because auth service has not been made, and that's what we're going to do so that we can alleviate our issues. And first things first, I'm going to go a bit faster because I noticed that the video will be long. I'll probably split this into two. Like we'll do the storage service and the auth service, and then connecting it to the sign up page I'll do in another video, so that you can, I don't want the videos to be too long. If you look at the analytics, the long videos don't do too well, right? So we could come here and say, we all have short attention spans nowadays. We could say import Firebase, and after this we could say import Firebase auth, like so, and we come here and we say import Firebase storage, and after this we're going to say import I think we're going to use Firebase Firestore. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're going to use Firebase Firestore. This is, yeah, definitely. In fact, that's the whole point of this auth service. And the auth service, we're going to create a root. And as you know, just like actually it started with Firestore. So yeah, so basically it should be like this. We have the root of the folder of the Firestore structure, and let's just have a look at what our Firestore structure looks like, right? So we could come here and where it's Firestore, Cloud Firestore. We're not going to use the real-time database. We're going to use Firestore, of course. And what it's going to use is we are going to have I created a user, right? And the user in question is going to be in the users collection. So when you come to users collection, you find a user, and their ID, the document is going to be made from the user's ID, which we saw in authentication, I believe. So user unique identifier, right? I could call it like that. I could call it that. And where is it? Cloud Firestore. So let's come back here. So it's made up of documented. Firestore is made up of documented collections, right? So we have a users collection, which we are going to create in a bit, and in it we have a user identified by his UID, and here we have his bio, which is just an empty string, which you saw us creating in the storage service, right? And the email, I put it in the storage service so that you can, after you take the image, you send it along. The image should be the last thing to be sent along, right? So that's why it's over there. And the profile image, this is a URL to you can see our the name of our storage bucket, I'll call it a storage bucket. A storage bucket is normally AWS, but let's just call it a storage bucket. So we have flexigram fpd.appspot, and then here. So this is a link to our profile image, and then the search name. This will help us in the search, remember. So it's the first character is 0. So the first character to position 0 is P, and then A, and whatnot. So that when we are searching, when you type P, it will help us with the search page. We will get there in a bit of time. And then the UID is this, you can see it here, which is used to identify, and the username is his called password. I'm very imaginative. I call all my users. If you followed my Flutter Tinder tutorial, you'll find we use the password, and all the users are called password, the first user, so that we don't have to remember. Yes, save on the memory space. So yeah, basically that. So we could come back here, and the first thing we could do is we could create back to our auth service. Of course, we could create, the first thing is the root. We could say static var store root. We'll call it store root. Call it something creative, and this is just going to be Firestore like so, and we can continue from there. Create the get user ID method that it's causing all the problem in auth service, right? So in the storage service, right? So what we could do here is we could say static func, and we could say get user ID like so, and user ID is going to be a string, and here we're going to have document reference. It's going to return a document reference, and what we are going to return here is store root, which we just created, and the collection we're going to be looking at is going to be the users collection. We have just seen it, users, and we are going to get the document. The document here is going to be with the user ID that was passed in, right, as a string. So we have created that. Okay, let's use double quotes. Apparently it's complaining. Yeah, so basically that, and after that we're now going to create the sign up method, and since we want it used everywhere without having to instantiate, we could say static func sign let me just spell it correctly, sign up like so, and this is going to take a username which is going to be of type string like so, an email which is going to be of type string like so, password which is going to be no prizes for guessing, image data, and this is going to be data. On success we're going to escape it, so it runs after the function. We're going to say escape, or isn't it escaping like so, and we are going to use the underscore, and we are going to return a user who is going to be of type user like so, and this function is going to return nothing, so you could say void like this, and on error, which is the other side of this, we are going to, let's go back to our storage service, and let's recycle on error. It's going to do the same thing, so we could just come here and we copy, and we say on error. Let's just copy this instead of typing the entire thing, and come back to auth service, and on error we could paste that, right? It's just going to take the error message in question, which is of type string, and it's going to return nothing. And after that we could come here, and we could say auth. We probably should create that we'll probably, I don't know if we'll remember to switch it out here. We will create a session store where we will have this. So we'll use a lot more auth. So we could say create user, so that it can persist the fact that we're logged in, right? We will do that in another video, probably 2 videos down from here. After this, we're going to hook it up to, the next video is going to be hooking up the sign up view to the Firebase, and then after that we are going to now work with our with our session store and work on the sign-in stuff, right? Yeah. So on create user with email, and with email, and we could pass in the email like so, and the password is going to be no prizes for guessing password, and we could remove this, the completion handler, like so, and come here and we could say auth data, which is going to be an object containing a bunch of information about our logged in user, and we could say in, this is a closure, we could say if, I think this code looks a bit like this, so recycle, so we could come here and we say copy, paste, like so. If you don't understand anything, just ask, or even better, come and just go to the Firebase guide. Just go to the guide. You'll find a lot, and at the end of this, this is the storage guide, right? At the end of this, you can have a look at how to download a file from cloud storage after you've put it up there. So download files on iOS, so you could create a reference. It's explained, very easy to follow, very simple, basic, shouldn't be an issue, right? So let us continue. Okay, so after that we could say we could come here after the error and say guard let user ID, and this is going to be auth data, and we're going to say auth data and dot, if we have a user, that is user dot UID, else we're just going to return like so. And after that we are going to first create a variable. We could call it storage profile user, let me just spell it correctly, user ID, and this is just going to go into the storage service, and it's going to go into the storage service, it's going to come here, and it is going to get this, the location of where the storage reference here, right? So we have seen it, we saw it when we went and looked at the, we saw it on Firestore, right? So yeah, so we're just going to say storage service dot storage profile ID, and the user ID in question is going to be the user ID, right? And we're doing this because we're using the user ID to name the profile avatar, the profile image rather, the profile image. So that's why we're doing this. And after that, we could say let meta data equals storage metadata, like so. And we could say metadata dot content type, and this is going to be we could say image slash JPG, like so. And we are now going to use the storage, the variable we created. We could say, why doesn't it remember the most, storage profile user ID, like so. And let's just come here and we say storage service dot save profile image, and we're going to run this method, and the user ID in question is going to be, you guessed it, the user ID, like so. The username is going to be the user name, the email is going to be email, the image data is going to be image data, the metadata is going to be metadata, the storage profile image ref is going to be what we created here, storage profile user ID, and on success we're just going to pass in an on success method. On success we could just come here and say on success, like so, and on error we're just going to pass in on error, like so. So basically we seem to have an issue, and cannot find auth service in scope. Let's try running it again and see if... Yeah, the problem goes away. Now it can find auth service. I will be adding a bit more methods, a few more methods here later on as we go along. And also in the auth service, we have to add sign in. Of course, we've not done that. But I think for now, that is enough, because what our next goal is to hook this up to the sign up page so that we can sign in. We can sign in and see the sign in procedure. But I think this video has gone on for long enough, and so I will end it there. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel because more content like this will be coming frequently. And have a good day. I will see you in the next video.